Hello everybody, my name is Calvin and today we'll be talking about Hurricane Paulette, Hurricane Sally, Tropical Storm Teddy, Tropical Storm Vici, Invest 98L, and Invest 99. Actually, Invest 98L and Invest 99L we'll talk in another episode. Before we start, I just wanted to mention that we just hit 8 subscribers and the channel is growing very quickly. Some content I will be doing for this year or school year is Road City, which I will mention in a future episode. Weather, which I'm doing right now, and don't actually be surprised if my mom uploads any weird content. First, we're going to be talking about Hurricane Paulette. Paulette has now made landfall in Bermuda, believe it or not, and is forecasted to become a major hurricane. That is actually not correct. It's not forecast to become a major hurricane anymore. This is the infrared satellite of Hurricane Paulette at this time. As you can see from yesterday's picture, sorry, I did not upload this weekend for some one reason. I'll tell you at the end why. But yesterday's infrared satellite view, there had a clear eye. Now there is no eye. That's a sign that it is weakening at this point. Here's the National Hurricane Center track of Hurricane Paulette, and you can see there is a good wind field. You can see the yellow color is the tropical storm wind, and hurricane is in brown. You can see it has a pretty good wind field, actually, as big as maybe Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. So basically what that means is the whole state would be getting tropical storm conditions, which was actually pretty intense. Now you can see the track, it heads toward the northeast, or northeast to be precise, and then it curves toward the south, and it weakens a lot because of wind shear that eventually starts to impact it, and because of cooler waters. Now let's talk about the national and global model tracks of Hurricane Paulette, and they actually have very good agreement. Look at all these lines kind of in this one similar area. They're all kind of agreeing in this turn right here, which is very impressive. That means we have very good confidence at where the storm is at this point. Alright, now looking at GFS ensemble model of Hurricane Paulette. Basically, this gives us a little more of a clearer view of how the model, basically this black line is GFS, but GFS has more models to determine what it's forecasted to do, and you can see they have pretty good agreement besides a few models. At the end, obviously, they will, curve around and do some funky stuff, but in the first few days, they have very good agreement, which is surprising. Now looking at the intensity guidance of Hurricane Paulette right now, it is right about here at 80 knots, and it's going to be situated. Some models have it continuing to intensify, but most models have it weakening, but then hitting that warmer water again because of it turning southward. But you can see it just kind of stays there, It's not dropping. Some models just carry it right to depression, but we'll see what happens to the system. Not really expected to impact any land at this point. Now talking about Hurricane Sally. This one is going to make a huge impact on Mississippi and Alabama, and this is probably what you're all waiting for on the video. Now, the system does have a very good organization. It's moving very slow. It's basically a stalled low pressure system at this point. Very good organization, but not showing very good strengthening signs. We have this good outflow, and we have some inflow coming in, but notice there's some dry air starting to seep through these yellows. They're indicating dry air in the area. They're going to continue fueling it. Not saying yellows are actually dry air. It just means like there's a break in the reds. It just means that there is something that is causing the system to not strengthen as much. It's moving very slow, actually. It's moving at 1 mile per hour. Think about driving 1 mile per hour consistently for 24 hours. How far would you get? Only 24 miles. It's moving so slow. Alright, now looking at the wind field and National Hurricane Center track of Hurricane Sally. Notice the cone is actually pretty wide. We have a pretty big uncertainty of where it's going to head in the next few days. But notice that wind field, very big. Now, a lot of the areas in coastal Alabama, Panhandle region, extreme southeast Louisiana, and South Mississippi are all experiencing some tropical storm conditions, and they're expected to continue. Look at this icon, and look at this icon. They're really close together, and that just signifies that this system is moving very, very slowly. Now looking at the national global model tracks of Hurricane Sally, and you can see pretty big difference here. Some models have it curving southward. Some models have it curving all the way toward the northeast and mid-Atlantic region. So look at this cone. It is really sharp. And we're still watching the system potentially strengthening in the Atlantic Ocean, But notice something that's happening. They're kind of wrapping around. That's why there's a high pressure here that moves through and kind of directing the system around it. But there's nothing like right here or the Bermuda High to control it and keep in that direction. So it's just going to start curving this way. That's my forecast. A lot of models still have it moving toward the east. Alright, now looking at the GFS ensemble models of Hurricane Sally. And they are all over the place. So we got these models coming over here into South Louisiana, and then these models are curving all the way over here to the Atlantic Ocean. It is all over the place, but notice the black line. That means what the average for all of them. You can see it kind of meanders into Alabama, then Georgia, then South Carolina, then kind of curves out into the ocean and expected to strengthen again. Not sure if that's going to actually happen, but it would be interesting if it would. Now looking at the intensity guidance of Hurricane Sally, this is what I'm saying. So landfall occurs in about 24 hours, so there's that weakening sign. But then look at the bounce back up. So we're still putting a big question mark at what this is going to do at this point. But we know it's going to weaken because of the landfall, but it may come back into the Atlantic Ocean, where it's in very warm waters. So we're still watching out for that. And the biggest problem for the system is flooding concern. Look at how much rainfall there is. Maybe, I'm guessing, probably 20 to 25 inches of rain. So that's like over 2 feet of water, okay? That's a lot of water. Let me change the color so you can see better. And the pinks are 15 to 20 inches of water, and that could cause huge flooding problems. And notice how oranges is basically 6 to 10 inches, and look how long this stretch is. This is all the way out of the picture. So this shows how slow this system is moving and how much rain it is going to dump. Alright, now moving on to Tropical Storm Teddy. Teddy is forecasted to become a major hurricane, and I'm going to show you the infrared satellite picture because that's going to tell you what it's doing. Oh, sorry. It's curving around, has a nice, decent amount of inflow. There is a good outflow, but you can't really tell where the center is. It's actually right here. The eye is trying to form right here. So there is a little wind here, but not a lot. So expecting this to become, that's right, a major hurricane. And I want to note something right here because yesterday, actually, the track was about right here, believe it or not. So this is a sign that it's shifting west. And I always think of how it could impact land. So it could go on this westerly track all the way here. That's not out of the question at this point. And impact Philadelphia, New York, Washington, D.C., all those areas. So we're still watching very closely. Bermuda, you need to watch very closely at this system. It could be a major threat to you guys. But I'm not going to take this with a grain of salt, please, because this is Sunday, and that's very far out. Notice it's still moving very slow though, but it is expected to pick up speed, and that's going to help it from intensifying too much. Alright, now looking at the national global model tracks Tropical Storm Teddy. Most of the models stop before they curve out, but look at all these models that just stop right here. The few models that do go all have it turning toward the north because of a trough, like all the way up here, so it's just kind of picking it up. But notice these few models are actually curving it southwestward of Bermuda, and that could be a major threat to the United States and Canada. GFS ensemble model of Tropical Storm Teddy. Again, strength is all over the. I mean, it's not all over the place, but they are in agreement that this may become a major hurricane. But they're also in all agreement that they're all going to turn toward the east or northeast, so not going to impact land. Again, some of the models are actually indicating, right switch, from here and just directly southward into, oh, you can't see that. Darker color, there we go. So it's just going to go directly southward of Bermuda and possibly make an impact on the northeast. Again, take this with a grain of salt. Alright, looking at the intensity guidance, they have very good agreement. Every single model has this becoming hurricane. Keep in mind because of that. It's one model that kind of meanders, maybe because of wind shear, but eventually that comes back up too. Every single model, think about it, every single model has this becoming a hurricane. That just shows how much confidence there is. So this is very likely going to be Hurricane Teddy. Now moving on to Tropical Storm Vici. Not a lot to say about this. The only thing I can say is this is the only other time since 2005 that the V name was used. So take this very active. Again, wind shear is now tearing it apart. Here's some surface level circulation, and here's all the convection. Not a lot of convection, to be honest. If they had them stacked, then it would be good for development, but that is not happening. Here's the National Hurricane Center track of Tropical Storm Teddy. Again, they expected this to be a depression by now, so pretty impressive. They still think it's going to just curve out and westward and eventually dissipate, but could make this track, could go right into the Gulf. There's still a big question mark here. Okay, it's not the question that gets out of that wind shear right here and starts to strengthen again. So we're still watching out for this. Now looking at the national and global model tracks of Tropical Storm Vici, and you can see that, yeah, a lot of the models are in agreement, but notice these two models that are curving southward. That could mean stronger, warmer waters. That means stronger system. Most of the models have it actually curving. Oh, I started way over there. Alright. But, anyways, they're all hinting that curve toward the west. Alright, now looking at the GFS ensemble model, and you can see that the cone is starting to get wide here. It's very wide actually. So one thing GFS has in common is the strength, and I like that because it just shows you that the strength is very predictable to the path and where it goes. So if the strength was going to increase, then I could tell right away that it's heading west. If the strength were to decrease, then it would be heading northward. You can see it's heading westward and weakening. That means there's more wind shear in the way. Here is all the models, national and global models, for the intensity guidance of Tropical Storm Vici. And you can see here that all of them have it becoming a tropical depression, let's see, by hour 72. So, we'll see about that. I'll post a separate video discussing the investigation areas. So, maybe tomorrow I'll post a video. By then, maybe one of them will be Tropical Depression 2022, I believe. Or it could be Tropical Storm Wilfred and Tropical Storm Alpha by then. But we're still watching them closely, so we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like. Thanks for watching again. And I will start to upload some similar videos about this. Oh, and back to where I said times I will post weather videos. I will post on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm not going to post on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because I do have something to do. Expect the time range to go from 12 o'clock. I could post at 12 o'clock because I would finish my recording from 11:30. It could range all the way to the nighttime. So just know that I changed the infrared satellite pictures accordingly to the time, so don't worry. And last but not least, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you, and goodbye. Okay.